So you talked about delivering electricity and power and water as a managed service. You know, nobody's probably ever done that. However, there's probably been some portion of their technology that they've provided. So we thought it important to dig down deep and show these guys what they get with a technology managed service provider. The ITEL standard, the event management in the NOC, the RMM, the PSA, all those many facets that have to come together to deliver that seamless managed service.
Yeah, you know, there's so many moving parts in regards to what we do provide or what we're capable of providing, and you're right, and it's so important to understand what the customer's current state is before we ever say, oh, hey, well, you should go with us because we got these fantastic tools. That's really what isn't it about.
Yeah.
Much like I just said, going back to the utility example, you know, there's got to be a need to move from what you're doing today, and it's got to be they've got to be uncomfortable or they've got to be dissatisfied in some way with what their current process or tool is for them to even think about, you know, going to somebody like ServIT. And what you said again is so true as well, that you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, everything that somebody's trying to you know, turn to a managed services provider for. I mean, maybe it's just their backup requirements. You know, maybe it's just their disaster recovery requirements. Maybe it's just that they need a trusted person to escalate issues to. And as you said, and what tool do you do that with? That would be a, you know, professional service automation tool in some way. Maybe even just network monitoring or something like that. Again, it all does go. We've got as a provider, we've got so many tools and so many processes that we could bring to bear on what's going on. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we don't understand what they're trying to achieve. You know.
Well, that's so true. And you know what happens is usually an event or an incident, something happens. A guy leaves the company, a guy leaves, or this catastrophic file is lost, or the server crashed and they couldn't operate. And they start looking around and they say, okay, I've got a couple of choices. I can build this myself or I can outsource it. And those are always two choices they're going to have. So it always comes down to really what's the best fit for me. And, you know, what you talked about getting them healthy and understanding that's so important. You have to think of it as a managed service provider almost as a doctor, right? And the doctor goes through these progressions. The guys walk in and the patient walks in and he says, okay, treat me. Well, the doctor doesn't do that. The doctor uses tools. He takes a comprehensive conversation with this guy where he's going through all this stuff and verbal and written tests, and then he starts doing stuff like x-rays and EKGs and way down the paths when he gets treated. And if you relate the way that you treat a patient or a customer in that, it sort of correlates with the managed service of electricity to technology, as you mentioned.
Man, it isn't the fantastic new firewall. It's not the best software application on the planet that is really going to basically take a business to the next level. It really is doing the blocking and tackling real well. It's, hey, do you have like an uninterruptible power supply?
Yeah.
Really plugged into your servers? Yes or no? Like, hey, are you protected against a 5-minute power outage? And things like that, and those are the things that really enable somebody to go to the next level in terms of availability and readiness and things like that. Even security is, are you doing the basic things well? I think the other thing that has stuck out to me is that in the same way that it's those foundational things that basically prepare a company to do really well, we've come to notice that it's also doing those routine things routinely that really set us up for success to assist a customer.
Yeah.
You know, it isn't about having the smartest man on the planet. It's about having a repeatable and consistent experience for the customer that really enables us to kind of keep that relationship going.
One of our challenges is technology is evolving so fast. It's almost, you know, what we used for remediation 6 months ago is no longer even relevant anymore. So, you know, it's an absolute challenge, and hopefully during this journey we get to talk about all the many facets and the things that we've done. But I believe at the end of the day, it's about expectations, you know, and it's how to really set these expectations and then deliver upon them. And, you know, the doctor analogy we talked about, I mean, these guys live this horrible life for their whole life, and they go in there like, give me a pill to fix it. Well, when you let your infrastructure or your technology go for so long, there is no magic pill. It is going to hurt until it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
So you know, it always comes down to managed service. Always comes down, or any service that these customers are buying, always comes down to one thing: they're trying to achieve a goal, they're trying to solve a problem, or they're fulfilling a need. I need extra resources, whatever that may be. And there is no magic pill. And I think the biggest challenge for a managed service provider is really identifying where this guy's at in his journey. One of the things that always amazes me is they've lived in this state of, just a state of chaos in their managed service provider or in their life forever. Then the second they start writing a check, it should all just go away. And that's just not reality. So I really think setting that expectation of, hey, listen, it's going to take time to continually improve and to get to this state that you want to get to, but we can get you there. I think that's one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah, I think so. And having those tough conversations on the front end are so needed. You know, I think the statement we've come up with is, you know, listen, whenever you're making changes for the better or whenever you're trying to move forward, you know, there will be trauma.
Yeah.
There will be some experiences that are not going to be the most ideal. But the fact is that we hope that somebody understands, because we've at least been there before, we know where we are and where we're trying to go, that we've at least know how to manage that chaos, right? Even if there is some sort of undesirable event. And you're right, it's just in the same way that when somebody wakes up and says, I've had enough. I'm going to basically I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating better. Like you said, there's changes you got to go through, and there's inner turmoil and things like that going on. That happens with customers as well. And but just basically being brutally honest about where you are and where they are, knowing where you're trying to go, and basically taking actionable steps every single day, every single week towards that goal. That is the magic.
That is it.